Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm Alexandra Suzanne Greenawalt of alexandrastylist.com, and I am here today with Michelle Rodriguez of the Paid Stylist program, and we are going to give you a fabulous webinar that includes our top 7 keys to building a successful styling empire. Just to give you a little background, I've been styling for about 13 years in New York City, and when I first started, I was primarily doing photo shoot work, and now I am primarily doing the opposite. I'm doing private styling. But for me, my career took a very huge pivotal turn for the better when I started working and met Michelle Rodriguez, and that's why I continue to have style chats with her, and I'm so happy you're here, Michelle.
Thanks, honey. I'm really excited to be here too. Thanks for hosting another webinar.
Yeah, of course, of course. So we're going to dive in deep, and we're going to start with the first major principle, and I know you and I both agree about this one, and it's that personal styling is personal. For example, when I style someone, it is for them personally, not for their professional, not for their, not for a photo shoot, but for their life as a personal person. That makes sense. I know, Michelle, you can speak more. What are your thoughts on that?
Definitely, when it comes to personal styling, styling is 10%, personal is 90%. And it's so easy for us as, human beings who can do styling in our sleep to assume that our clients know as much as we do, or we assume that what comes almost super obvious to us is obvious to everyone else, and it's so not the case. And so when we tread on that dangerous ground of assuming that our client knows what we know, we're in very dangerous territory, and we need to remember always that the person trumps style. Always, always, always. In personal styling, that is the foundation of everything. Whether, she is a stay-at-home mom or she's a celebrity, it doesn't matter. She is a human being. She or he is a human being, and we always need to focus on that.
Oh, well put, well put. So the second principle is to be professional. And I know that a lot of people think of the styling business as something really fun and exciting, and they have this sort of vision in their mind, but there's so much to the back end of the business, like figuring out how to charge and how to transition your passion and your sort of hobby for style into a full-blown business. I mean,
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. As creatives, as hypervisual human beings, it's so easy for us to visualize the final picture. Us with a client, us pulling for a client, us doing these great events and partnerships with really easy for us to go there. But unfortunately, we forget, or we just assume, unfortunately, that it's just going to happen if we think about it strongly enough. But the reality is that there are many steps that come before you are with a client. And as you mentioned, it's oftentimes it has nothing to do with styling or pulling or doing all of those things that we can easily imagine. And so it's important for us to keep that goal, to keep that vision always leading us, but to be realistic with ourselves and realize that we are now professionals. We are now owners of our own business, and as such, owners of our success story, owners of the outcomes that we want to happen in our business.
I know I've certainly seen a lot of people kind of dream about it, you know, envision it. But it's really the rare bird that takes action, and I think that's why I love your program, because your program is centered around taking action, so that like when you come out of the program, it's not just that you spent weeks dreaming, you actually spent weeks building it.
Yeah, when I created this program, I didn't want to create a theory-based program, meaning I just give you all of these examples, all of these theories, and then just hope from my side of the screen, hope that you're taking action and you're doing all of these things. I wanted to create a program that at the end of it, you had something in your hands. You had something to show to the world that you had created, that you had services that spoke about your person that you want to serve, and that really defined your expertise, that really defined your styling secret sauce, and that had a price that you would confidently back up. And I think that after teaching this course or this program for almost 2.5 years now, your offering is the core of what you are going to be delivering out there, what you are going to be sharing time and time again, whether it's in a marketing piece or in a seasonal promotion, or if you have a speaking engagement. It is always going to come back to what you have to offer and how you're going to present it to the world.
Yeah, I know that I get a lot of requests to follow me around, and what a lot of people don't realize is that I spend so much of my time doing behind the scenes work, like with my team, working on my website, doing social media outreach, blogging, implementing systems, improving efficiency. I do all this like boring stuff. What do you think is the most common mistake that you see like newbie stylists making?
You know, I would say it's for both budding and for seasoned entrepreneurs, is that sometimes we assume that when we launch our website, or that we, once we have a business card that says that we are a stylist, we assume that people are going to be banging on our doors just because we have a website and we announce once or twice that we now have a website. You and I both know that that's just the beginning. That is just the beginning of your journey into entrepreneurship. And so I think that that's definitely one misconception that happens. And the second one that I hear quite often, even before women complete the program, and it kind of raises a red flag, and that's where I'm like, well, hold on, before you go there. The second thing is that people say, I just want to do passive marketing. I don't want to annoy anybody. I don't want to just sound too salesy. And what I typically say is like, look, I'm not going to be running your business, but if you are comfortable with doing passive marketing, then you're telling me that you're going to be comfortable with passive income as well. So again, going back to being professional, you just can't assume that a website or a personal stylist or 1 to 2 newsletters or 1 blog post is going to inundate you with clients, because that's not the case at all. It takes work, a work ethic where you have to wake up every day. You need to take a shower every day as though you are going to your job, and you have a plan, and you implement, and you execute, and you make partnerships, and you get out there and you do the work. You do the work, and you can't assume that others are just going to come to your website and hire you immediately.
Yeah,
That's
you're so right, Michelle. I mean, it took me, I think, 2 or 3 years to build my SEO to where it is now. And when I started, I was like, really, do I have to do this? But it paid off in the long run. And I know you touched on it a little bit earlier about your sort, shop, and style, and I know that we both have been in agreement in this area that one of the most important things you can do is having a clear and defined menu of services, and only having a maximum of like 3, ideally 3, possibly 4 offerings. And I know that sort, shop, and style is kind of your anchor in your program, and it's fantastic. Can you explain to like the audience who may not know what this sort, shop, and style is?
Sure, sure. So the sort, shop, and style is a styling process that I developed when I was a personal stylist for 6 years in Austin, Texas. And what the sort, shop, and style does is that it does a couple of things, but the main thing that it does is that styling process easy to understand. Again, we need to remember that personal styling to us, right, as a community of stylists, it's very obvious to us, it's not new to us, but we are still in a world where personal styling, as far as the consumer is concerned, it's still a relatively new concept. And unfortunately, there are just bad visuals or bad memories in people's mind of what personal styling is. A lot of people assume that it's a personal stylist just being the styling dictator and walking into a closet and shredding to pieces your dignity based on your previous wardrobe buys, right? And you and I both know that that is so not the case. Personal styling is being one-on-one with a client. It's being heart-to-heart, emotion to emotion, being in the trenches with her emotionally and in a wardrobe sense, and just letting her know that, look, we all make mistakes. We all do them. So let's figure out where things have gone right, and let's start from there. And so the sort, shop, and style does just that. It focuses on the 3 areas, most important areas, why a client will seek a stylist. A woman wants to know, or a man wants to have her closet edited. She wants to have all of the items removed that don't work, and she needs someone there to guide her through it, to let her know that we need to let this go in a loving and caring manner, right? Then she wants someone to do the shopping for her. A client who hires a personal stylist hates to shop. That is just her worst nightmare, to go into a mall and feel like she has no idea where to go, where to look. And what's most frustrating to many clients is that stores that used to work 3, 7, 10 years ago no longer work. And so instead of them understanding that it's the retail market that stays, and that new people, right? There's nothing wrong with the retailer. It's just her that has evolved. Her, maybe she's now has kids. Her body has changed. Her lifestyle has changed. But unfortunately, when she goes shopping and she doesn't find what she would typically find at those stores, she attacks herself, right? She just goes into that place of, oh, it must be me. It must be my body. It must be my budget. It must be me, 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 me. But as personal stylists, we go in there, we help her shop, we pre-select the items for her so that she just goes in, tries on, and discovers new things. I think we can all agree that, all of us who are personal stylists, that there's nothing like that feeling when the client says, I would have never picked this out on my own, and I look awesome, right? It's a drug. It's a drug. And so the last component of the sort, shop, and style is the style, and that's where, as professionals, as consultants, we come in, we go back to the client's house, and we show her how to integrate the items that she already has in her closet with the new items that she has. And so, as you mentioned, the sort, shop, and style is your anchor styling service with two others before and after the Sort, Shop, and Style that beautifully integrate into upsells. And that is what I always recommend a client to, or a personal stylist to start at, and then grow from there. It's really easy for me to see when a personal styling business is out of whack and the numbers are all jaded, even before I meet the stylist, just by looking at the styling menu. Because as a consultant, if it's confusing for me and I know the industry, can you imagine what a potential client who has no styling process is about? I mean, she will just look at that menu, fortunately, never come back again.
Yeah, I've definitely seen a lot of stylist menus that seem to have modeled their menu after maybe a hair salon menu. You know, so they have like 25 services on there, including the kitchen sink, and it really doesn't do anyone any justice, because as a personal stylist, you're usually one person, and so you should really be doing, you know, 1 to 3 to 4 services really, really well, and you should be like jamming on those 4 services instead of trying to offer, you know, 10 or 12 services. You go crazy, you know? Doesn't make any sense. So
it doesn't.
I know that I get a lot of my business from my website and from organic SEO, and you know, having a really, for me, I found having an amazing web presence and platform has been my secret, you know, my competitive advantage. And I know in previous versions of the Paid Stylist, you offered a branding kit, but now you're doing something totally different, which I can't wait. You know, please share with us what's different for this season.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, web presence first and foremost is so important for any entrepreneur, but especially for personal stylists. And yes, we used to provide the entire branding offering to new stylists, including seasoned stylists, and it was great. I really love that we were able to offer that and provide that and let that be a one less hurdle that a budding entrepreneur or relaunching seasoned stylist would have to go to, because the branding process, the online branding process, it's a pretty heavy one. And it's one that takes time and it takes energy, and you know, it requires a lot of hand holding. But what I came to realize 2 years later is that while that offering was amazing and it did help a stylist tremendously, you know, just get out there and launch with a beautiful online branding kit, what I came to realize is that I really wasn't doing a stylist much justice if she didn't know how to tweak that branding kit on her own. If she didn't know what to do design-wise after I provided that to her, if she didn't know how to tweak or create a new web page, or she didn't know how to tweak a button, or you know, just the simplest of things. So I looked at all of the parameters, I looked at all of the offering, and came to realize that when you're an entrepreneur, you need to know all of these components. Not only do you need to have a beautiful website designed and created, but you also need to know how to make those tweaks, how to make those adjustments on your own. And not to say that you're going to be on your own forever, but it's going to empower you even more, so that when you do grow and you do bring on a team like you and I have, it's much healthier for you, because you'll go nuts if you don't know this information, and it'll save you a ton of money. It'll be much easier for you to share that process with your team, because you do it. And so this new program, it's a little bit of both. I wanted to create the best of both worlds. I still wanted to give each stylist who went through the program a deliverable, that a promise that by the end of the program she was still going to have her beautiful website, her beautiful online kit, a logo colors, a scheme that really represented her in the deepest respect, while at the same time showing a stylist how to do it on her own so that she can then run with it, tweak it, and then pass it on to a new team member as she develops her business and she grows and grows.
So it's really going back to the notion of you can either teach, you can either what is it? You can either uh, feed a man a meal or teach him to fish. Teach him to fish, and you feed him for life. It's like you're teaching them how to create a sustainable business and to take the control into their own hands.
Yeah. I mean, when it comes to, and you and I were just talking about this last week, is that personal styling is the best of two worlds. And I think most personal stylists fall into these categories. We are control freaks by nature, whether we want to admit it or not. Yes, we like to have control over, very specific things in our life. And when it comes to our business, and we're also super creative spirits, right? So I really wanted to give, through the branding kit, those two worlds. I wanted to really fuel those two anchors that are so natural in a personal stylist through a branding kit. I want to move that image 2 picas up, because you know what 2 picas are. I'm going to show you how to do 2 picas very easily without having to know code. And if you want to make, a magenta versus a fuchsia, we know those differences. And oftentimes when you're working with an outside team, it's the same to them. So then it just turns into like, no, I said fuchsia, not magenta. It just, massive headache. So I'm going to show you how to tweak and how to build and how to create things that are beautiful and represent your entire company the way you would.
Amen.
Yeah.
So the final tip is to not be a copycat. And I know you and I have had very extended conversations about this. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts, and how do you stay fresh? How do you stay original?
Whew, the copycat. Oh man, that is a loaded word. So there are 2 parts to I think I want to answer 2 parts to what you just asked me. So there's copycat in a sense of, I do want to give warning to those entering or wanting to enter the entrepreneur field that yeah, you're just going to have to come to terms that people will copy you, and that's just the truth. It's going to happen. It sucks. It's a sucky truth. But when you're in an online world and when you are on social and promoting and sharing your goodness out with the world, there are very lazy people out there who will go to your website, assume that you won't come across it, and will totally swipe your copy. And you and I have shared stories where people have swiped entire websites.
Yeah.
And so it sucks, but it's going to happen. It's something, and it's a truth that I unfortunately have to share with every program, with every woman that goes through the Paid Stylist program. Is it's going to happen. I really wish that it didn't happen, because it hurts. There's just nothing like that first time when you find somebody that copied your work word for word and you're just like, oh my God, it just takes your breath away. And I know for me, the first time I discovered a person who copied my Sort, Shop, and Style copy word for word, it set me back a couple of months. I couldn't recover. It kind of paralyzed me, to be honest, for a couple of months, because I was like, what do I do now? So with that said, knowing and just coming to terms that people are going to copy you, how do you stay fresh? How do you stay relevant? How do you continue? How do you not get paralyzed when you feel that anything that you create is going to be copied sooner or later? And I can only speak from my experience and what I do. But what I've done as my world, as my business model has shifted from an in-person to an online experience is on blinders. I really do. And I stay away. I keep myself from going too much into other similar businesses, into poking around, because what that does is just depress me. When I find my work again still being copied, it just depresses me, and it paralyzes me, and I know that it sets me back. But the most important reason why I put the blinders on is because it halts my creativity. And to me, there's nothing like my own vision. There's nothing like my creativity, and I try my hardest to keep my creativity as pure as possible and as as pure as possible. And when I start lurking around, I do get paranoid that there may be an ounce of what I see that I may integrate into my own business, and then I become the copycat, right? I become the person that I don't want to happen to me. So I put on my blinders, and I just go online to people who inspire me and who give me new ideas.
Yeah.
And it's a handful. It's not a loaded list. It's a handful of men and women who fuel my creative spirit. But outside of those, 5, 6 men and women, I stay away.
I think it's very tempting for when you're starting out. You just find something that you like and you just want to shortcut your experience. But in the end, I mean, I really think that original work speaks for itself, and it's stronger. I know that in the beginning when I started, people said to me, "Oh, just steal tear sheets," and that just didn't really sit right with me.
Yeah.
So I know that this round you have two options for the paid stylist, and this is also new. Can you talk a little bit about the difference between curious and committed, and sort of the best way to go about building your own style empire?
Sure. I'm so excited. I just it wants to bust out of my skin. I'm so excited over the new program. So first and foremost, the committed program, that is my solid signature program. It just changed names, and you'll know why in just a little bit after I explain more about the new program. But committed is still, it's the Paid Stylist program. It just has a new name, but same still foundational goodness that has launched women all over the world now. Really excited to say that. Came about after, again, helping women, and after getting so many emails from men and women around the world asking us one question: where do I start? Very loaded question, but what I came to find out is that, and it actually goes back to everything that we've been talking about in this conversation, Alexandra, is that a man or a woman who is contemplating starting his or her personal styling business needs to understand all of the things that need to be done before he or she ever styles a client. And I wanted to provide a program that was going to give him or her the full entrepreneur experience. That way they knew with certainty and with just full on, just fire in their belly, know for sure that they want to start their own personal styling business. And so the Curious program is just that. It's for the person who is curious about being an entrepreneur, who is curious about wanting to start his or her personal styling business, and who is curious about all of the resources that are entailed in starting out. So he or she, by the end of the program, they're going to have a mini business per se that is going to show them how many hours it's going to take for them to market their business, how many hours it's going to take for them a week to style a client, how many hours it's going to take to do research on a retail level. It's going to show them how many hours and what type of resources are really needed to get the word out there. And he or she can easily have this business for a solid 3 to 6 months, generate income, build confidence, build buzz, and then when he or she is ready to move forward with taking things up a notch with a full-scale service menu, then they could move on to the committed program, because at that point, they are committed. They know without a shadow of a doubt that they want their own thing, and they know exactly that there is a market out there that will hire them, that they will get paid for this service, and that will just give them that urgency to get out there sooner than later.
So essentially, curious is like a little bite-sized morsel, and committed is like the whole pie.
Absolutely. That's exactly what it is. But at the same time, it's little, but it's going to give you a real experience of what it takes to have your own personal styling business.
Yeah, I think that's so brilliant, because I see so many young people that are exactly that. They're very curious about the business. And I've also seen a lot of people like jump into styling and try it out, and then they use it as a stepping stone and they do something else later, you know, like they come into it and they realize, oh, actually I like this other part of the business better, you know.
Yeah.
So it's definitely like a great way to get your feet wet and you know, see if it's the right fit for you.
Yeah, and you know what, whether the cool thing about Curious is that whether you decide to be an entrepreneur, there's something for you. But if you decide not to do it, that's still great. That is still a great decision to know once and for all if entrepreneurship is right for you. And you no longer have that notion of, or just those ideas in your head of like, oh, should I do it? Should I not do it? I see all of these other people doing it and they're having a fun time. You know, just those those doubts and all of those ideas running through your mind are just going to be settled, and you are going to have data to back those ideas up. It's not going to be like, oh no, I don't have the money, or no, you know, like just those crazy ideas that come into our head. The movies is what I call them, the movies in our head that tell us that we can't do something. No, you are going to have actual data that lets you know, that makes you that helps you make the decision whether to do it or not do it.
So speaking about data and technology and all that jazz, I know that tech has really propelled, as I said this before, and I think I've said it many times over, SEO has been very good to me. Google search brings me qualified leads, brings me great press leads, brings me great business. Can you talk a little bit about, you know, what people in Committed are going to learn tech-wise? Because essentially, is it right that they're going to learn how to maintain their own website? But like, what are kind of like the, you know, the nuts and bolts? Like, if you were just going to bullet it.
Yeah. So I would put it all under the tech tools umbrella. And
okay.
There are, under the tech tools umbrella, you are going to learn two sides of the business. You are going to learn all of the tech tools that work behind the house, as you've heard me say those terms, and there are tech tools that are going to help you in front of your house. So in front of the house is everything that the public sees. back of the house are all of the nuts and bolts, all of the tools that help you run your business while you are out marketing, while you're sleeping, while you are out doing your beautiful live thing. So under the tech tutorials, you are going to learn how to set up SEO, how to set up an online merchant account so that you could pay online, and then it goes through a system of taking your client through an intake form, and then that intake form, parts of that intake form going newsletter list or to a specific sales funnel list, and then that form going to your inbox when the client has completed it, right? Those are all things that back in the day, before online tools, a personal stylist had to do on her own. She almost had to take an entire day just to do that type of back of the house work on her own. But I'm going to help you set up online tools that do that magically, auto-magically is what we call it, so that you don't have to do that. You don't have to take a day to do administrative stuff. Now, front of the house, I'm going to show you again, just lightly touch, I'm going to show you how to set up a website that and show you where to specifically put a newsletter sign up. I'm going to show you how to integrate your newsletter email sign up form so that it looks beautiful and it doesn't look cheesy and it doesn't come in hideous yellow, neon yellow colors. I'm going to show you how to integrate it in ways that is beautiful, that is in line with your brand, and that it works for your business. Because while having a beautiful website is a great thing, if it's not working for you, it's not doing its job. So I'm going to show you all of the things on how to make it beautiful and work for you at the same time, including SEO through this new tool that I discovered a couple of months ago that I believe is God's gift to entrepreneurs as far as websites is concerned.
Wow. And I know all the tools that you feature are ones that you and I both use and have tried out and tested. And I know that last year you offered this program kind of, I think, 3 times last year, but now it's going to be offered more often. Is that true?
Yeah. I really wanted to provide this program more frequently because we were getting inquiries faster than we could offer the program. And so with the new offering of Curious, I was able to organize the 2 programs to work hand in hand so that they could be offered, the Curious program could be offered every 4 weeks, every 4 to 5 weeks, and the Committed program able to be offered every 8 to 10 weeks. There's going to be always a little gap, but it is definitely going to increase the times from when I offered it only 2 to 3 times a year to now 5 to 6 times a year. So I'm really excited. I'm really happy that there are now offerings for a budding entrepreneur. There is now more times for a seasoned entrepreneur to hop into the program and get started. Or if there's a budding entrepreneur who just knows that she's committed, she doesn't even need to go through the Curious program. She can easily jump into the Committed program when she's ready. So if you don't want to go through the Curious program, you can always step into Committed when you're ready. So it's not, you have to do this one before you do this next one. You can definitely hop into for a fact that this is what you want to do.
That sounds awesome, Michelle. And I know that just to be completely transparent, I've been a big, huge fan of what you've done with the Paid Stylist for years. And it's actually the only program that I'm like an affiliate of and also a mentor within. And you know that I take my mentoring position very seriously, and I don't actually offer mentoring outside of being a guest mentor in your program. Yeah. And so I do offer a very special bonus for anyone that signs up for either the Committed or Curious through by using my name when you sign up, using Alexandra Greenawalt when you sign up with Michelle. I will give you a copy of my book, Secrets of a Fashion Stylist, and I'll also give you a 30-minute one-to-one Skype or Google Hangout with me where you can ask, all of your burning styling questions. And then I also throw in, this is the juiciest bonus of all, I throw in a shopping field trip. And that takes place in New York, and it will show you how I prep for a private styling client. And also, if you can't make it in person, I'm going to be creating this season a special webinar just for your students, so that they can see, you know, how do I prep for a private styling client in New York City and navigate all the big and great stores. So if you
That's
want
awesome.
to, yeah, isn't that juicy?
Yeah, that's really cool.
So if you want to get those bonuses, just again mention my name when you sign up for either of the program. The last thing is there any other things that we haven't touched upon? I mean, I know we got to plug the website. Go to thepaidstylist.com.
Yep.
If you want to find out more information. But is there anything we missed, Michelle?
No, you know, there's one thing that I am going to start to do this season, and this goes against all marketing advice that I have been given over the past 2 years, but you know, this is what I want to do, and I know that this fuels me, and it's something new that I've never done, but I've always wanted to do, but was advised not to do it. But you know, I'm just kind of like, I'm going to do more of what I want to do, which is any advice that I'd give any entrepreneur, by the way. Do what you want to do.
Yeah, listen to your gut.
Yeah, always listen to your gut, always. Things start getting kind of kooky when you don't. But what I'm going to start to do is, when my schedule allows, or as much as my schedule can allow per week, I'm going to take 1 to 3 calls, 20-minute calls, for women or men who are just curious and want to learn more about the programs, the industry, already have a business, but just maybe need a little bit of confirmation. It's going to be focused on one area, so don't come to me with a 20-bullet list. That ain't going to happen. I really want you to focus, and this is going to help you too as an entrepreneur. I need you to focus on one thing that you would like more advice on. And so I'm thinking more Sundays is when I'm going to let people know through Instagram and through Facebook how many openings I have that week. And sometimes it'll be one opening, one 20-minute opening. Other weeks it'll be 3-week opening or 3 20-minute openings. It just depends on my week. But I will let you know through Facebook or Instagram, and you could follow me on either one at The Paid Stylist. I'm at The Paid Stylist on Instagram, and through Facebook, of course, just plug in The Paid Stylist and I'll come up. But I'll let you know on Sunday evening. Typically plan out my week when I'm available, and that'll be a great opportunity for us to chat, and would love to learn more about you, where you are in the world, what you're up to. You have kids, you have a boyfriend, you have a girlfriend. Very important too, by the way. When you're an entrepreneur, you're not separated from family and from all the other things. It's all meshed together, and that's a beautiful thing. And so when we talk, I want to learn all kinds of things about you and help you over that one specific thing.
So, and you're opening these sort of office hours to anyone in the world, or just students of The Paid Stylist?
Anyone.
Wow.
Anyone? Yeah.
That's generous. Well, I don't know what those people were talking about, that it's a bad idea, because it sounds like a good idea to me.
Well, you know, it's the whole concept of you got to build a velvet rope around you, and you know, the velvet rope just kind of makes you a lonely island sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. Let's get rid of the velvet rope. Let's tear it down.
No, I like to help, so why not? So why not? But again, 20 minutes, one area.
Yeah, you're so generous, Michelle. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you to everyone who's been listening and watching and made it to the end. And it's been wonderful being with all of you here, and have a great one. Bye.
Bye, guys. Have a great week and a great summer.
Bye.